Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the living world of darkness, changeling venue of New York City. In today's episode, we have Marshal Romulus meeting with Count Vlad regarding not only his letter, but a certain question that's been troubling the Marshal for some time ever since reading it. The Marshal's offices are fairly easy to find in Taranar, so should Vlad wish to see him, all he needs to do is ask for directions.
Vlad already knows where it is. He actually has a fairly good. He spends a lot of time in Taranar, and he comes by at a time when he's told the Marshal's available, and stands in the doorway.
The door is closed at the moment. These are not during his normal, open door hours, but he is available.
Oh, he'll get one of the Taranar servants in deference to the Quidian to knock on the door.
Come in.
So Bogan comes to say, Count Vladimir is by again. He wants to see if you're available to talk.
Is he outside?
Yeah, close by.
Yes, I am available.
I'll go down. Bogan bows and goes and gets Vlad, and Vlad comes. And Vlad comes in. Hello, Marshal.
Vlad has never seen... I don't think Vlad has ever seen the Marshal.
They haven't met. He's seen him.
Nor has he ever been inside the Marshal's office.
Nope.
It's very Spartan. It's very clean.
Yeah.
There's a rather large mahogany desk closer to the wall, but far enough to where he can move around behind it. There is an armor rack to this side bearing a set of she plate in Gwydian colors with the emblems of the Kingdom of Apples, and another emblem that is a taloned hand holding a scale. Over one shoulder, there is a half cloak that is
the emblem actually on the armor, or like it's enameled?
Mm-hmm. It's enameled on the chest piece.
Vlad just kind of looks at it, and his lip kind of curls. He's not particularly good at hiding his emotions.
On one side, there is a half cloak that is bisected by the colors of copper and deep scarlet red. Just at the entrance, on the other side of the wall, there is a large grandfather clock. And on the wall above Romulus's chair, close to the ceiling, there is a plaque that in Latin reads, "To protect and serve."
Vlad just kind of glances around. If this is a good time, I'd like to speak. If it's not a good time, I can come back another time.
No, this is fine. What can I do for you, Vlad?
You got my letter?
I did.
He's got a very thick Russian accent, and he's, I guess I should describe him too. He's quite tall. He's about 6'5", and he's not particularly good looking. His appearance for in the to Fey eyes, but it's more a sense. Even that is more a sense of personal presence than beauty, as
It's the same thing.
Defined by.
It's the same thing with Romulus.
Yeah. He's got a very coarse features. Like he's got a very big jaw, heavy brow, big nose, kind of deep set eyes, which are Asian, incidentally. They're blue, but he has the Asian fold. And he has a very, very big, full beard. It's silver, and not gray, not white, like actually silver, reflective silver, and so is his hair, which is styled in some sort of a horrible power mullet.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of coarse. He's wearing it's not like he's wearing a collection of like black wool and furs and like piecemeal composite armor, like an amber necklace, and there's a smell about him too. It's not a bad smell, but it's very noticeable. It's sweat. It's a smell of someone who does a lot of exercise. Campfire smoke and old leaves. And his face is heavily scarred. Like his nose has been broken repeatedly, and he's got in both his face seaming and the gray world, pretty complete collection of scars. Just because you're a character, actually, maybe one of the few to pick this up. In both the gray world and the dreaming, he has Schmidt, the German dueling scars, the very fine lines from like the lip to ear on both sides, more on one side than the other, obviously. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sit down.
Thank you. He sits. He appears kind of standoffish. Looks about the office. I appreciate that you read my letter. You were very busy for the last week and a half, so I did not get a chance to speak with you. Understandably, I suppose. First, I thought you had might have some questions for me. Then I have some questions for you.
Really? Questions from me? Pertaining to what?
A number of matters, but I feel probably you'll want to discharge your duties as Marshal first and question me.
Fair enough.
He doesn't really seem Again, other than being a bit standoffish, like he doesn't like it here, it's kind of clear. Um, and he really, doesn't seem to like the armor. Um, he doesn't seem either afraid or hateful, just kind of suspicious and distrustful.
So, why is the computer not working for me? Hold on. Um, so, I do have one question. Let's see. You notice that he pulls out your letter.
He just kind of waits.
Have you? What is Vlad's current willpower?
7.
7. Good number. Have you decided to take this satyr as a vassal?
It depends.
On what?
Number of things. Most particularly, what kind of justice you can. He kind of like spits out the world, where she can expect to face on her own. I wasn't expecting she'd run, but honestly, if I was unsealing commoner in this kingdom, I probably would have run too.
I am of the mind that the innocent do not run.
Yeah,
However,
of course the police say that in Mississippi.
however, I understand she was frightened. I understand having your life threatened is not necessarily something that is cohesive to sane actions.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Please.
In what way have I given you the impression that I am an unjust person?
Well, you are one Equidian. 2, I've never seen you at any of the reform meetings. And 3, you are serving in office in a kingdom modeled on the 14th century, with all the respect for justice that brings with it, such baggage. Or under your watch,
you said something that I serve a kingdom. What do you know of my position?
You are chosen by dreaming. Never mind. Okay. You were likely the one who executed Duke Guile, and pride presumes helped sit in judgment on him. You know, you.
I can tell you I was not the person who passed judgment on Duke Guile.
Huh. Well.
That was done by Parliament in a private renew.
Yes. He just kind of smiles at that. That does not seem to reassure him at all.
I was at his execution as well.
Mm.
And I spoke with his executioner. For again, it was not me.
Well, good. Not that I particularly cared for him either.
Genocide is a nasty business. Or attempting.
Yeah. Well.
Either way. Because I am Gwydion, you've judged me.
And because you're a member of the reform meetings. And because I haven't seen you do anything for the commoners or speak on their behalf or speak for the Unseelie. I haven't seen any results from the investigation into the bombing at Unseelie stock. I mean, you know, there are beatings. There's no expectation of justice. Duke, what's his face over in the Duchy of Mears? The pansy. He tries to think as the player goes to his notes. Where are you? Text edit. And reason to Duke Rialdo, who forbids fraternization between nobles and commoners.
Old man, older views.
Yes, I suppose that's one way of putting it. Bigot and racist would be another.
True enough. However, you haven't seen me at reform meetings because I am busy. Because I, in this office, am supposed to be a bastion of neutrality for this kingdom.
We can talk about this till
we're blue in the face.
Yeah, that's sorry. I don't always know the idioms.
All right.
But listen, I will reserve judgment, and
there is one question that I need.
Go, please. Yeah.
That I need answered. And I'm going to get dice up for this because it's important. Are you currently... Is the individual satyr currently within your territory?
To the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, no.
Hmm. That is at least one success.
He's not lying.
Okay. Good. Good. Then I have a question to ask you.
Sure.
Estrella of House Elunid has come to me.
Hmm.
Worried as well for the justice that this satyr might experience at the hands of others. I'm afraid
Yep.
that if I offer this individual a closed fist instead of an open palm, that information she may or may not have will be lost. You wish to seek, you wish to see true justice done.
True justice is always subjective, but yes.
You wish to see justice done that
For my
is
people.
that is unheeded by bigotry, classism, racism. Correct?
Yes.
So, if you wish this to be done, work with Estrella, find this satyr, bring her to me, and the both of you will be there as I question her.
And what guarantees are you offering her?
I am offering her the same guarantees that I would offer anyone that is possibly believed to have any connections to a kidnapping plot of anyone of such a high rank, Seelie
I'm.
or unseelie.
How are the investigations going for around Sealy stock? The coordinated attack
I
with
have a question.
400 something killed,
I have a
30
question.
with cold iron.
Yes, I have a question for you.
Please.
Do you understand what this kingdom has recently gone through? The war with the Adhene.
Sure.
You understand that people are not pleased with the results of that war. They're not pleased with including the Adhene within the kingdom, giving them a voice that is their elder council.
There are even within my county. I do not discriminate. I mean, personally, I would have preferred to continue the war, but the Queen spoke. She's the best of the available options, and under those circumstances, might as well embrace it wholeheartedly. Anyone who takes the oath can live in my county, and they even get my welfare program.
Fair.
We have a dross redistribution program. It is the first in the entire High Kingdom of Concordia.
I'd like to learn more about that on a less
Taxes are
on a less professional standpoint.
sure.
However, those that are unpleased by the outcome, what would you think the best way to spark a new fire would be? Personally.
I mean, to what end?
Starting a new
Like generally chaos, or to achieve something specific, restart a war,
to restart a war.
assassinate Mosenair.
That's another way, yes. But say It was to restart a war with the kingdom on the losing side.
I repeat my answer.
Fair enough. He gets up and he goes into his desk and he pulls out a list. This is a list of every name that was killed, that was harmed, that was injured at Unseelie stock.
Mm-hmm.
These names.
I have a list too.
Hmm?
I also have a list.
These names. Each one of them is important. Each one of them is a reason to investigate. Do not think that because I am a Gwydion, or because my offices here in Taranar exist as they do, that I am unaware of the individual worth of each of these names.
And you think an Unseelie is equal in worth to a Seelie, correct?
It takes many minds.
It's not a. It's a yes or no question. One either believes that or they don't.
True enough. When I had first come to this kingdom, when I had first chrysalis, I was very sure that the term unseelie meant evil, while seelie meant good. However, can I tell you something?
Sure.
You understand that Dugail maintained that he was seelie, even to the point of his death.
Yes, he likely was. As were those who, from your house and the other four Seelie houses, who participated in the Night of Iron Knives. And I'm sure their apprehension will happen any day now, including the ones who reside in this kingdom.
It's a lot more complicated than that.
Yes, of course. Politics.
You notice Romulus sneer at the word.
Yeah. Justice must take a back seat to what is expedient, of course. There are political realities. There are allies we cannot offend. There are delicate balances to be maintained.
Bullshit.
We will have reform gradually. We can have separate but equal still.
I get your point. And understand me when I say that it is all bullshit.
Bullshit's just another name for a story. A story is just another name for a dream.
Things will need to be done. I will be investigating Unseelie stock, but know this, it is my personal belief that there is more behind this.
I don't think anyone who is at all aware of what's going on in the world will deny that. Obviously, Unseelie stock was a coordinated attack, because we lynched the first wave of Dauntain on day 2. Obviously 11 people, and I present to you that probably at least one of them was a duchess. Okay? 11 she don't just pop out of nowhere. I mean, that takes someone of, significant rank and station, and persuasive ability. And, there are 3 obvious suspects, by the way.
I know.
The king in Willows, the Shadow Court, and the Beltane Blade. I mean, it could be someone else entirely, but
Trust me, I know.
yeah.
And each one of them presents a host of other problems.
Yes. For example, the Shadow Court does not officially exist, and its existence is not recognized. And there are no unsealing house members, with a handful of exceptions, beyond myself and one or two others in the Parliament of Dreams, so you couldn't even have access to them easily. And the king is a king, and your jurisdiction is arguable within Willows.
Arguable.
Not saying it doesn't extend, but
that's another way of saying doesn't exist.
Oh yes. And the Beltane Blade, well, political realities are being what they are.
Again, I know. However, to your main issue, the justice or the assurances that I can offer are one, my personal word. The moment she enters the boundaries of Tar-Nar, she will be protected from outside.
I'm somewhat skeptical of the ability, not just of you personally, given the recent kidnapping attempt. I mean, frankly, if Countess Eve and the others hadn't been there, you know, my friend Tron shot one in the face, killed him on the spot.
Yes.
And still about half of them got away.
I know this.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of security is not, and they weren't even being particularly violent, truthfully. Kind of immune.
I have a solution that I will be discussing with Marwin about this.
I mean, you'll pardon my my skepticism somewhat. I've heard promises before. I've heard offers of my personal oath, my personal honor. But you know, it's honor is an aspirational thing, not a hard reality. And it doesn't offer protection against lynch mobs or assassin knives. I can tell you what she said to me, by the way.
I would prefer it from her lips. Her own.
Okay. I doubt she'll come back anytime soon. Unless you could offer her something, you know.
This is what I can offer her. I will meet with her in the Grey World. In a public place. With you and Astrea there. And we will have a discussion. There will be no weapons. I will bring nothing but myself. No one but myself.
Does your Jedi mind trick work over the phone?
I don't think so. But surely, with Astrea, yourself there.
Astrea, she's sympathetic, but she's an intelligent person. She's balanced. She's not a bigot. But
she was the first person to come to me wishing me to offer this individual the hand of peace.
Yes. As I said, she's an intelligent person, and she's not a bigot.
So, just because she is unseelie, just because she is seelie, it doesn't mean she doesn't wish me not to do everything that I can for this individual. But at some point, my hands are tied by my position. I hope you understand that. Let her know that I will not offer her violence so long as she does not offer me any.
Let me ask you some questions.
I actually have to go soon because it's...
Okay, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Okay, 5 minutes because I have to really...
We can continue this other time. If all she did was, in fact, set up a meeting for the Queen in the gardens with someone who she thought was trying to help the Queen and get the... Is there a penalty for that?
No, there isn't. However, at the same token, should she have set up a meeting for the Queen in the gardens, knowing that others of ill repute were going to be there, that is an entire matter altogether.
Well, no. The intention is what matters. Isn't it? I mean, if she thought she was doing it for the Queen's safety...
If she thought she was doing it for the Queen's safety, there is still a matter of... I would need to speak with her.
You can understand why that's not really going to be reassuring to anyone.
What would you have me do? If you were sitting in this seat, tell me, what would you do?
I would offer a declaration and make a written statement published that, in fact, if all she did, was that she intended to help she set up a meeting intending to help the Queen be more safe, then there is no penalty for that, as long as there is no ill will or malice. She will already face a social penalty. She'll never be able to return to the position. Her close relationship with the Queen is presumably broken forever.
I'll think on that. However, if you can, again, find her.
I'm not precisely sure where she is right now, but I don't think she's in the country.
We shall see.
Yeah. I will leave you. You're busy. I'll ask you my questions another time.
Thank you. I would like to have another conversation with you.
He spreads his arm. I'm easily around. Oh, just to cut through the bullshit. Given my role in this, am I facing anything, or...
Honestly, that depends on the complete intentions of the individual.
Which of the handmaiden?
Indeed. The
Wasn't a suspect at the time.
wasn't a suspect at the time, that's true. However, she did run.
So?
And you offered her sanctuary.
I offered her sanctuary first. She ran after. I just said an attack against her is an attack against my county. They could have run after her and convinced her to stay. In fact, I called the guards, which no one else had thought to do. And my advice could be heard across
Had they run after her, had they attacked her, or had they run after her and she attacked them in turn, what then?
They attacked her and she attacked them.
But you said an attack upon her is
an attack upon my county. I probably would have challenged them to duels.
For defending themselves. If they ran after her.
If they ran after her and they attacked her.
No, and she attacked them.
She had a small knife and is not a trained fighter. Don't be a fucking. That's a fucking joke. They're both knights. They could have stayed 20 feet from her and shouted at her. He just he actually appears outright dismissive of that. What? They can't speak to someone who's 10 feet away? What you gonna do? She's not Mr. Fantastic. She's not gonna reach her arms.
No, but the actions of the desperate.
The actions of the desperate. She was running. Unless they attacked her, why would you do anything?
But it was in their forefront. It was in their minds at the time.
You're speaking hypotheticals. Again, the question is, does intention matter or doesn't it?
Intention matter, at least to me.
So am I in trouble at all or no?
No, not currently.
Oh, no, I'd like to know whether I'm facing charges or anything because, bluntly.
No, not currently.
And will I face charges?
As of now, no.
Not as of now. Will I face charges? Assuming that I was not the brilliant mastermind of the very poorly planned kidnapping attempt. Given that
I never suspected you of being the mastermind of such an attempt.
Oh, well, I'm slightly hurt then. To hear some people talk about me, you'd think I'm the devil himself. Just less good looking.
People will talk.
Yeah.
People will always talk.
Yeah, of course they do. So maybe you could give me something in writing once you've had more time to consider. Because if I'm going to face charges, or is there any possibility of such, I'll just demand trial by FRI.
The only person that can bring charges against you is me.
Well, I'd like to know one way or another, and rather than have a sword of Damocles hanging over my head. If there's going to be charges as said, I will answer to the dream.
There is no sword of Damocles over your head. There is no...
So there will be no charges?
No. Not as of now.
What does that qualifier mean?
It means I cannot speak for your later actions.
Oh, of course. Obviously. My actions in relation to what happened 2 weeks ago or whenever that was. I don't know.
Your actions as to protecting the handmaiden.
Yes, that's
you yourself believed that you were protecting someone, whether or not she was. She was a tool within the plot, has little bearing on you.
Good. Okay, I'll leave you to your work. Come by Brooklyn sometime if you want to talk to me. Or I'm up at the library or walking in the gardens with a book, often here too.
Fair enough.
Okay. A scene?
Yep. We thank you players for playing, watchers for watching. This has been a scene for the Living World of Darkness, the Changeling venue. Please have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night.